Rego Payment Solutions has an app called Missoula, and that is really based on kids and focuses especially on privacy. It's a financial app, but especially on privacy. So with me, CEO Dan Aptor of Rego Payment Solutions, and also Julie Jatlow, who is a owner of Fuse, a youth marketing agency. So we're going to get an interesting perspective from you about what's going on with digital marketing to kids these days, because it's certainly complex. So Dan, let's start with you and just tell me a little bit about Missoula and what you're doing with the app.
Yeah, sure, Jane. So really quickly, Rego is a neobank, privacy first platform, as you mentioned. We provide family-oriented mobile wallet and commerce solutions. So both in-store, online purchases. So think touchless transactions specifically for families and for young children or teens. In the US, the mobile wallet market or virtual debit card market space is about an $800 billion addressable market. So it's quite sizable. We're addressing the fintech gap specifically for the 70 million or so underserved Gen Z teens and kids who are actually just getting involved with mobile commerce. And we hold 3 patents in the areas of privacy, PCI attribution, and identity management. We're the only certified COPPA and GDPR mobile wallet. So for those viewers that are not familiar with COPPA, and they probably heard so much in this past week and a half, 2 weeks of Facebook trials, it's abbreviation for Child Online Privacy Protection Act, which obviously has gotten a lot of attention. So finally, just want to say we're going to talk to you a little about what Missoula is today, but it's our direct consumer solution. So it really addresses child financial literacy, access to commerce. So really kind of creating kind of this concept of child empowerment or financial fiscal / responsibility. And then we never compromise on a child's safety and security. We really create kind of an environment where they can test and learn in a safe way because their identity always remains private.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And then Julie, you have an 11 and a 14-year-old? And I have a 12 and a 14-year-old. I mean, we're living this life right now with the kids. And I am amazed at how marketing has changed to young people. This digital and it's social. And I mean, from your perspective as an owner of Fuse, I mean, can you give us an overview of what these kids are, how the marketing is going to them? What are they seeing in their daily lives?
Yes, well, it's nice to meet you, Jane. It's true. I am a parent of young kids, an 11 and a 14-year-old. And I definitely understand the need for family digital mobile wallet that's safe and secure. I remember first meeting Dan and the Missoula team, and I was already an adopter of digital wallets for my kids. So we knew we were a good match because I had personal experience with the category. But it wasn't just my personal experience. At Fuse, we're a youth marketing agency, and we specialize in creating authentic brand engagement with Gen Z and millennials. And so, we do this for a lot of big companies, Fortune 500 companies, but we also do it for startups and innovative companies who want to be disruptive. And I would say that Missoula really falls into that category.
And Dan, let's talk about that a little bit, because Missoula is different. I mean, there's a number of other digital cards out there targeted toward Gen Zers, but Missoula has a different kind of angle for kids. So elaborate on that a little bit.
Yeah, so you're right, Jane. So listen, the teen debit credit market, very nascent. But then there's absolute flurry right now of solution providers out there. And as kids and teens begin to enter this world of commerce and get their own debit card or credit card or banking solution, we need to ensure that they're successful. And this includes both equipping them with the right tools to interact with, so the ability to buy and save and spend with ease, less friction, but also providing the ability to navigate in a safe and secure way. Mm-hmm. And the Missoula app starts kids off really, I'd say, on the right path to success by teaching them essential skills: money management, spending management, budgeting and planning, impacts of social responsibility. So these are all commonly known as financial literacy.
All right. Well, thank you so much, Dan and Julie, for joining us today and telling us more about Missoula. I appreciate it.
Thank you for having us, Jane.
Thanks, Jane.
Sekur, the true solution for your digital privacy and security. Sekur is a private and secure messaging and email solution hosted in Switzerland, using proprietary military-grade encryption and Swiss privacy laws, giving you true privacy. Sekur doesn't collect or sell your data and doesn't require your phone number or any personal data that hackers target. You can message and email non-secure users privately without the need for others to download Sekur. Visit Sekur.com. Regain and protect your privacy today.
Equify is a digital platform that merges traditional banking with decentralized finance. And with me is the CEO, Brad Yasar, to talk about what Equify is doing, digital and banking and decentralized finance, and just kind of the whole thing. So let's just start. Brad, give me a definition. We're hearing decentralized and decentralized finance a lot lately. Would you define that?
Hi, Jane. Thank you for having me. DeFi is actually not a complex concept. It's decentralized finance, meaning a lot of the middlemen that exist today as the gatekeepers and the validators of all these products and services that are delivered in finance are replaced by a programmatic approach, by computer code. So instead of your banker being in the middle of a loan, because obviously banks gather funds and then they loan them out, and that's how they make money. Now, this requires a trusted entity in the middle, which is your bank. With decentralized finance, what has happened is instead of having a trusted authority in the middle, people said, what if we programmed it to act a certain way? So both parties know the outcome of the transaction. I know that if I loan you $5, that you're going to pay those $5 in 5 days, $1 a day. And then we don't really need a trusted central party. We don't need a bank because the program is going to run whether you like it, I like it or not. Mm-hmm. It's going to automatically access the funds. The payments are going to be made. I'm going to receive my loan. You're going to receive your repayments, or you lose your collateral in some instances. So there has been a move towards what can we do peer-to-peer, what can we do company-to-company, business-to-business, without having these really complex systems where there's sometimes multiple middlemen in between, and it slows down the process. It makes it cumbersome and more expensive. Yeah.
That's one of the best explanations I've heard of decentralized finance, actually. And you're doing this with the blockchain, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm. Yes, we are.
So what are the challenges to decentralized finance at this moment?
Well, adoption and education, not in that order. It's education, then adoption, of course. But those are the two biggest challenges. If enough people knew about the options they have and were able to access it in a very simple, user-friendly fashion, they would definitely consider at least exploring. Mm-hmm. But that hasn't happened in the general public's mind. And with Equify, that's our number one prerogative, to bring DeFi, to bring digital banking to those who are not technically savvy, who are not included in the current financial systems for whatever reason, and show them how easy it is to have a positive return on their savings as opposed to what's being offered by the traditional banks right now.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. And that is certainly a challenge because people just, especially when it comes to money, they're kind of like, I don't know if I want to try anything new. I want to stay with what I know. So I think, that's a formidable challenge, but I think, we'll get there at some point, especially as new generations come up and they're more technologically savvy and more willing to accept new things, I think.
Absolutely. I mean, you have to be open to change to benefit from these incredible returns and life-changing products that currently do exist, but only less than 10% of the population know about them. and then even a smaller percentage actually venture out to use them.
Right. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about your long-term goals for Equify. Where do you see this company going?
Well, we started Equify about a year ago. We started building it, and our goal was always to change lives. We weren't in it for anything other than being able to provide something to people who didn't have access to it, whether it be banking or decentralized finance products that have high returns. So long term, we want to accomplish one thing, and that is to be the gateway into crypto and DeFi for the general masses. That's our goal. In order to accomplish that, of course, we need to have institutional support. We need to have a lot of retail users. We need to have corporate partners. And every step of the way, that's what we have in mind. How can we make life better for people? How can we help them earn a higher return on their savings, on their investments? And how can we make it so simple that they're not scared to use it?
Mm-hmm. So how does somebody get started? Is it an app? I mean, how do they even begin to use Equify?
Equify is a web app. So it's a website. You go to equify.com, and what happens is it prompts you to create an account. As with any other website, you create an account, and it's really simple to get going from there. We have our own token called EQX, which unlocks more features and higher limits and better rates for you. But you don't even have to go into that at first. Just look at the products and ask questions, because I know people are going to have questions. We have a 24/7 customer service line. We have a Telegram chat. So if people come, create an account, look at the products, and they're curious, I highly encourage them to ask questions. Once your questions are answered, compare what you have right now. Do you have a savings account? Do you have a checking account? Do you invest in the stock market? Do you invest in the bond markets? I don't know. Just look at what's in your portfolio and what we offer. You're going to see incredible difference between the two. And if you don't have any of it, start with a small crypto investment, because unlike stocks, you can buy fractions of crypto assets. Right. I correct people all the time when they say, I really want to buy Bitcoin, but it's too expensive. I can't afford one.
I do too, yeah.
You can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin today. You don't have to be extremely wealthy or allocate $65,000 to own one. You can buy $10 worth of Bitcoin. And when Bitcoin goes up, your $10 are going to increase, regardless of what fraction of that one Bitcoin you had. Same thing with EQX, same thing with Ethereum. So go on the platform, create an account, take some action. That's the first step. Well,
and the fact that you have 24/7 customer service is, I think, really important, because people, they have questions and they don't know. And how does this work? And I had a friend who thought Bitcoin was a stock, BTC was a stock, and so it's just like, people are trying to learn, and it's a little scary. But if you have somebody that can walk them through it, I think that's really a key thing. So you talked a little bit about the products. Can you go into a little more detail how they're different than traditional banking products?
Absolutely. So we have 4 DeFi products. One is a fixed rate borrowing lending. I say borrowing lending because as the user, you can both borrow and lend. When you go to your bank doesn't allow you to lend and make money with it. They say you can open a checking account, you can open a savings account, here are the rates. Here, we actually allow you to set the rate you want to lend money out and deposit funds just for that purpose. So the difference is you're in control. We're not, we're not touching your funds. You own your funds, you go in, you select the rate, and if there's someone who wants to borrow, they borrow, and then now you're earning passive income. So that's the fixed rate borrowing lending. Then we have a variable rate borrowing lending. That's for more adventurous people who see the market going up or going down and they want to benefit from it. And it works the same way. You go in, you see the market rate, you decide how much you want to lend or borrow, and you use the product. No middleman. We have no control over it. We don't deny loans. We don't discourage you to apply. It's on the platform. It's self-serve. You go in, and as long as you complete the necessary steps to be onboarded, it's available to you.
Very interesting. And you kind of start to get a sense of how banking is changing, with some of these new products. So thank you so much, Brad. Very interesting, CEO of Equify, and look forward to catching up again in the future.
Thank you for having me, Jane.
Thanks.
Need hearing aids? Tired of paying $5,000 or more? Tired of making multiple trips to have your hearing aids adjusted? Now you don't have to. Our Hear IQ 4 medical grade hearing aids are fully rechargeable, Bluetooth compatible, and start at under $1,000 for a complete set or monthly payments of $44. Our hearing aids are self-adjusting using any smartphone and features remote programming by hearing care professionals without you ever leaving home. Order your pair today at myheariq.com.
Global Diversified Marketing Group is a global multi-line consumer packaged goods company. It makes and packages foods and snacks like Italian wafers and other gourmet snacks. And with me is CEO Paul Adler to talk about the packaged goods industry. So first, give me an overview of your company. What are you doing?
So we basically develop, build, and look to acquire one-of-a-kind brands. And all these brands are in a consumer packaged goods, which, human consumption and many other things. Currently, we have about 25 SKUs, which are under 5 different brands, and each brand has numerous SKUs of its products, something like macarons, Italian wafers, and many other products. That's the basic main, business of our Global Diversified Marketing Group.
Now, I was reading that you are looking to expand into nutraceuticals. So first of all, explain what nutraceuticals, and then why do you see that as a growth area?
Yes. So nutraceutical is a very high growth segment, which we're looking to get into as of right now. And basically a lot of products that has a lot of benefits to it. So we're actually getting into a supplement gummies, which will contain apple cider vinegar. Some of the gummies are going to be with collagen and also mushrooms. And all these gummies you can consume as a snack as well as gain benefits throughout the day.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot of things about mushrooms lately.
Yes.
Actually.
And our particular mushroom gummy is going to have 10 mushroom complex. And one of the main ones is going to be a lion's mane.
So it's a gummy, like a mushroom gummy? Mushroom
gummy, exactly. It tastes good. It actually gives you a boost of energy, and you're able to function very well, and it doesn't give you a side effect of a capsule.
Interesting. So, and do you see a lot of growth coming from that? I know people are really interested in eating healthier.
Right. Well, basically, if you look at the overall industry, it's a $117 billion industry. Just capturing 0.25% is a lot of growth there. Our main focus is going to be focusing on e-commerce, where we're going to be marketing a lot on Facebook and many other outlets, and delivering that growth direct to the consumer. That's the main goal.
Okay. And then do you have any plans to uplist? Your OTC, right?
We're over the counter right now, yes.
And then what are your plans uplisting in the future, perhaps?
Yes. So we've been working on, making sure before we submit the application to the NASDAQ, have all the boxes checked. We already have, a certain percentage of those boxes checked, but we're still working towards getting everything in line so we could actually file an application and get it approved rather than rejected. Right,
yeah. So, and then what are your plans for the next 12 months?
The next 12 months, we're actually looking to grow and diversify our business in e-commerce. Currently, we're in 4,500 doors nationally, but our focus is really to deliver the e-commerce direct-to-consumer products. As we have seen over the last year and a half, a lot of people have been accelerating their buying through e-commerce channels, and that's exactly what we want to do.
That's the focus. Well, thank you so much, Paul. Very interesting.
Thank you.
To hear about this industry.
Yes.
Thanks.
Enjoy the benefits of the world's first patented time-release hemp-based CBD topical cream. Hourglass has achieved increased topical bioavailability of cannabinoids that slowly release our CBD over an extended period of time. Hourglass is 99% CBD, THC free, and lab tested, and verified by scanning our QR codes. Visit hourglassonlinestore.com.
Okay, here we go. 5, 4, 3. Pink Panda is developing a mobile wallet, an exchange, and easy access for crypto novices. And with me is founder and CEO Adam Carlton, and also Jean Toronto, the Senior Compliance Advisor. Welcome, Adam. Good to see you again. I see you have brought a guest today. Would you like to introduce us?
Thank you. Good to be here. So yeah, Gina is as you mentioned, our Senior Compliance Advisor. Maybe Gina, let you do a little introduction as to your background.
Sure, great. Thanks. And thanks for having me. I spent 30 years in financial services with big banks. My most recent engagement was with PayPal. I was their global head of anti-money laundering compliance, developed that, and then became the chief compliance officer. We looked at crypto back in 2012-13 timeframe when there was only Bitcoin. Now there's a significant broader range of cryptos used from, but we did an analysis on all of virtual currencies as well. I've spoken at a number of global conferences and related to the subject. Very fascinated, I think, as everyone else is, in the future of payments and money as it relates to the cryptocurrency and the blockchain in particular. So that's my background in a nutshell.
Okay. And of course, there's been a lot of talk about crypto regulation. I think Gary Gensler, the head of the CEO, just said last week that the U.S. will not follow China in basically banning Bitcoin, right? And mining. I mean, what's your read on the current regulatory environment in the U.S.?
Yeah, so I think the environment is still somewhat uncertain in that we don't have firm and clear guidance. I think we have plenty of guidance in the regulatory compliance space as it relates to money laundering, terrorist financing, consumer protection. And I actually think at the end of the day, we'll probably see a lot of similar regulations around the crypto space, and in more particularly in our avenue of the DeFi token space. The regulators aren't quite sure what to do, I think, because no one around the world really has figured it out. The U.S. actually was ahead of the game in a lot of places in requiring that crypto exchanges be licensed as money transmitters. What we're seeing now is some of the federal regulators in the U.S., along with the White House, looking at how they might, at least for the stablecoin cryptocurrency market, require that they become banks. I don't think that will be commonplace across the board, but I think we'll see definitions of the entire DeFi and the blockchain infrastructure, and the regulations that are already there will follow.
Yeah. Well, I think a lot of people in the industry are welcoming regulation. I think they feel like it would legitimize it. It would clarify how they can build their business. I mean, are you finding that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think it creates the level of certainty, right, that we're looking for. Right now, we don't really have clear guidance in some of the areas as it relates to whether it's a token, a security, a commodity. And so we're looking for that so we know how to comply. I think, by and large, is it always the case, probably 98%, 99% of the industry wants to comply. We're just not quite sure exactly what to do. Although I think we at Pink Panda are looking at it from the perspective of we're going to use the existing framework in order to meet the regulatory expectation.
Okay. Well, that was my next question, is how are you preparing for this kind of constantly changing environment?
Yeah. So the market right now is just so much more developed and mature than it was even 5 years ago. And so there's a lot of third-party players in the space that help do the know your customer, the identification, the transaction monitoring that we didn't have a couple of years ago. And so it's probably easier to leverage certainly the technology, but also the partners in the business and the industry that can help us continue to comply.
Well, thank you so much, Adam and Jean, for coming. And it sounds like you've got a busy few months ahead of you with the rollout and following everything that's going on in Washington. So thank you for updating us.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
Need hearing aids? Tired of paying $5,000 or more? Tired of making multiple trips to have your hearing aids adjusted? Now you don't have to. Our Hear IQ 4 medical grade hearing aids are fully rechargeable, Bluetooth compatible, and start at under $1,000 for a complete set or monthly payments of $44. Our hearing aids are self-adjusting using any smartphone and features remote programming by hearing care professionals without you ever leaving home. Order your pair today at myheariq.com.
FINXFLO bills itself as the world's first hybrid liquidity aggregator. And with me is CEO James Gillingham of FINXFLO. And James, I know you had your big launch, was it 2-3 months ago or so? It was a major deal for you. How is that going?
Yeah, so the launch has been highly successful. It was a little bit scrambling around because obviously we've been trying to meet super tight deadlines. So the devs and the various teams, the DevOps and the guys that are trying to deploy the technology, it was tough. We continue to work around the clock, but everybody pulled together, galvanized the team. Obviously, we have a team based in the US and in Europe as well as here in Asia, but they've done fantastically well. The launch went really, really well, and we've acquired a lot of customers and a lot of trading volume. So as CEO, I'm super, super pleased and happy with where we are.
Yeah, well, congratulations. And so now that is kind of under your belt, what's next? Are you going to add any new features to the platform? What's next for FINXFLO?
Yeah, so we're already looking at the next features. So we're looking at the new, more advanced orders. We have TWAP, VWAP, best executions. We have stop loss, OCO orders. We have centralized staking. We're also about to launch the FXF token to be fully integrated with a platform where we're able to pay trading fees. So that's also being executed. We've also developed our new mobile app, which is also recently been released. So yeah, there's lots of kind of new features with regards to CFDs, futures, options. So it's not only going to be spot crypto that's also available on the platform, but we're also giving total optionality for anybody wishing to trade crypto.
Okay. And you also have launched apps on iOS and also Google Android.
Yeah, so the apps that were launched were again, it was a fantastic job by the team. So Bruce, who's our airhead mobile developer, rolled it out in only 2 months. Our community were absolutely amazed at the quality of the app. It's super stable, went fantastically well, trading really well. Volume has spiked off the back of it because essentially lots of our retail customers, they want to be able to trade on the go. So they not only also sat at their laptop or their desk all day, they want to be able to trade with a phone in their pocket, and that's what we're giving them accessibility to do. So again, a great job by the team.
Yeah. And, you operate globally. How do you keep track of all the regulations, all the licensing? I mean, not just keep track of it, but it's changing a lot too, because this is such a new industry.
Yeah, so as we see now, we're currently at all-time highs. With Bitcoin, as we currently speak, we're at 66,000. So again, that comes off the back of the ETF, the futures ETF being approved by the SEC. So the macro view of the global regulators is that there's now the green light. Obviously, we are regulated in Asia. We're acquiring regulation in Europe as well as in the US. We're looking for global regulation. We've always been set up as a regulated entity. So essentially, we're already been pointed in that direction. And we've got some more fantastic news that we're also acquiring a license in the Middle East. So I know, Jane, you were recently in Dubai. So we're also acquiring some licenses there and setting up shop over there to be able to cater. So we are truly a global cryptocurrency brokerage.
Well, thank you so much, James. And look forward to getting you here to New York soon.
I can't wait to come and finally meet you face to face, Jane.
Yeah, that'd be great. Thank you so much.
Take care. Bye-bye.
PetProducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. Sekur is a new way to have completely safe and secure email and messaging. And with me, the CEO, Alain Ghiai, to give me an update on the business. And Alain, good to see you again this week. And I know you've got November's a key month for you and the company, right? Tell me what's going to be unrolling in November.
Well, thank you, Jen. Hi to everyone who is watching us. So November is really the last month of the year for a company like ours to really push our sales, especially into businesses. And talking about businesses, as you may know, some of you have been following us, we have launched a consumer version of Sekur with our email and messaging, and we've done some tweaks into it. So now we're getting a ton of requests from businesses. You know, you have like, you know, john@mybusiness.com, and they're hosted with typically unsecure email services from big tech and other companies that we won't mention here, but I'm sure we all know them. So now what we're going to do by the end of November, we are launching business email hosting. So the pricing is still going to be a little bit defined, but we're going to launch email only. So right now we've got Sekur, which is an email and messaging app bundle for $10 a month. You get 100 gigabyte of storage, which is the most storage of any other company out there in the world that gives you high quality storage. And then you have also the Messenger app, which is Secure Messenger for $5 a month, which lets you send encrypted, private, and secure messages to other secure users and non-secure users. So we plan to launch by the end of November Secure Mail, which will be, I believe, around $7 a month for the consumer version and $10 for the businesses. And the businesses, the reason why it's more is that you can have several domains. So if you have 5 businesses, you know, we have medical companies, other law firms, they have 2-3 different domains. You'll be able to have up to 5 domains. You get at least 100 gigabyte of storage. We're looking at increasing that. And for $10 a month, it's really an amazing tool because businesses are the ones that really communicate to outsider and this communicate sensitive information. And that way they can use a secure send feature much better.
Well, Alain, I know I don't have to tell you about this ransomware issue and how big of a deal it is for businesses. I mean, we saw the meatpacking company just in the past 6 months, Colonial Pipeline. There was a local TV station group that was attacked more than a week ago, and they're still not back up and running again. And it disrupted their business. They were off the air. I don't know if they had to give ad time back. I mean, it's just a huge cost and a growing problem. This would prevent that, right?
This would prevent that 100% because 94% of all hacks in the world, and definitely in the business world, go through email. We have a term, it's called a BEC, a business email compromise. It's the business version of email phishing, essentially. And the reason why we can guarantee the protection is because we do not host our platform on any of the huge big tech platforms, which are great, but they're not really that secure. You can't secure 5 billion people when tens of millions of people work on the same code and everybody knows the secret sauce, as I like to say sometime on our secure segment with Anna. So essentially, we are no open source technology, proprietary tech, all hosted in Switzerland. So we obey by the strictest data privacy laws in the world. And we also have our own platform. So we're not hosting on Amazon Web Service. We're not using Office 365. It's not a Exchange email server, which, I mean, there's hundreds of articles about how many times they get hacked. So as much as I like Microsoft, I use the Word, Excel, and all that, we never use their email. So now we're going to be able to give businesses the protection that they deserve and their email domain and also their client. Because if you're a banker or a lawyer or a doctor and you want to send an email to someone or a mortgage broker, as a matter of fact, real estate is like, you know, booming. There's so many transactions in real estate right now. Well, when you send a transaction back and forth with all the documents and your financial information, people use WhatsApp or Office 365, and that's why the poor recipient is going to have their bank account emptied. Whereas with us, when you use Secure Send, you're guaranteed that the recipient can read your email and use Secure Reply without having to by Sekur. Only the sender needs to have it. And we're doing the same with our messenger application. Right now, we're working on a way to upload your address book without data mining it. And we're going to work, I think by the end of November, we'll have it too, where you can just text someone and say, hey, hey, Jane, I want to chat with you. And you, Jane, would click on your link, and then immediately you're in the portal in Switzerland through our Helix technology that we've discussed before. It's just for businesses and government. We're already getting government interest from emerging market. And we'll talk about emerging market as well. So we're very excited to be able to finally provide that to the 30 million small businesses in the US.
So if I'm a small business, I'm thinking, what does it take for me to make the transition? Like, how complicated is it? Does everybody have to get a new email address? Like, what's the process?
Actually, that's a great question. So let's say your business email is, bob@mycompany.com. Right now, bob@mycompany.com maybe is on GoDaddy or Microsoft Office or something else. You do not need to change your email address. That's the whole point. You basically can use the same domain with us. And then we have a very easy to use migration tool. You literally plug a few numbers and you basically put your hosting company's credential. It's called an SMTP or IMAP server, and you just plug that in. You would have that because when you have your own domain, you know how to do that. And then it migrates automatically all your email from your previous provider.
Well, yes, and we will talk about all that in the coming weeks. So thank you so much, Alain. Good to see you again.
Thank you, Jane. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Have a great week coming up.
PetProducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company. Boatim is one of the world's largest online marketplaces for boats. There are yachts and sailboats and motorboats and all kinds of boats to buy and sell. So with me is CEO Joseph Johnson. Great to have you here.
It's great to be here. Thanks so much.
So give me your background.
Well, formally, I'm a lawyer, so don't hold that against me. I'm recovering, or I'm in recovery. I think that's how they say.
Boats sound much more fun.
It is a lot more fun. I have done my time in-house as general counsel of the public companies and many private as well. And so this was a transition, I guess a natural transition that brought me along.
So I gave a short little introduction to Boatim, but elaborate on that. What is it that you do?
Well, you got Boatim right. A lot of people are like, how do we even pronounce this? Is it Boatim, Boatim, Boatim? Boatim actually means Boat International Marketplace, and it can be called all three. That's just fine. And what it is a place for everything boat. We believe that life is better on the water. And so our goal, our mission is to get everybody out on the water that wants to be there. It's a peaceful, tranquil place, but there's a problem getting out on the water. It's practically impossible. You can't find the boats you want, you can't get there, and that's because while boating's been around forever, well, I think the digital tools still are lacking.
Yeah, okay. So, yeah, you're right. I mean, and if you don't want to own a boat, that makes it difficult too. So is this just buy and sell, or can you rent? I mean, how does it work? Who's it for?
So the way it started was to help, one person, the founder of the company, find a boat he couldn't find. Because it's just so frustrating to do. And what it's evolved into, in order to find that one boat and help him get on the water, it's evolved into an entire ecosphere. I don't know how else to put it. A world where everything boat can come together so that the user, the boater, the boat owner, but not just the boat owner, but the potential boat owner, the boating person, the boating guest can go and get everything they need, resources, information, services about boating all in one. And the face of it, of course, is the marketplace, is where it started.
How big is recreational boating globally? How big of a market is this?
Well, last year there were over 80 million adults in the United States alone that went boating. So in the world, we have over 100 million self-identified adult boaters. And that That's a big number, but then when you look at the actual dollars spent, we're over $100 billion a year spent in that marketplace.
And is the number of people, because I know last year during the pandemic, boating got to be huge. It was outdoors, so you could kind of, have some fun, but not be in a big crowd and things like, is it growing still?
It continues to grow, and it's growing. It's been deemed the hottest outdoor recreational activity in the United States now.
So what kind of innovations does Vodum bring to the industry?
So one of the big things that we've done is we've looked at, because the boating market hasn't really changed as far as what's out there. I don't want to say anything bad about it, but it would be like if we still use ticker tape here on Wall Street. What we've brought is a world of tools, a set or a suite or a platform to allow the professionals, people who buy and sell services and boats and things like that, to control all of their inventory. And we brought a marketplace for all of the boaters to get together and understand what it is they're buying. And we are launching in just a few weeks a consumer application, handheld, to track everything and do it all from your phone.
Okay, and so if I'm looking for a boat and I want an enriching experience, walk me through the process. How do I begin, and how do I find a boat that I want, and how does it all work?
Well, without Vodum, first thing you do is you go buy a kit of hair dye because it's all going to go gray. With Boatim, you're able to go online, and we use our proprietary AI technology to match you with the boat you're looking for. So people go onto our website, or they'll go into our app, and whatever it is they're looking for, your internet history, your cookies, allow a story to be told of what your desires are, what your wants are. Instead of using those cookies, the metadata that people talk about, to sell you ads, sell you a pair of sneakers, we use that data to help you find exactly what you're looking for, to make it a less frustrating, because it still is, we're getting there, a less frustrating process, but also to make it so you have lower buyer's remorse. So you get the boat you're looking for. Once we match you with that boat, most of these are with dealers, you'll be matched with that dealer, the dealer takes it from there, and we're building a set of additional tools to handle the next process. For a car, for example, you can now just swipe and click on your phone and have it delivered.
Yeah.
The boating is nowhere near there.
Okay.
But at Boatim, we're bringing the boating world there, not just for the vessels, but for the services and the additional products, and of course the trips and everything that you can get.
Sure, yeah. No, and especially if you're a new boater, those kind of things help. You can go and you can learn about, where it needs to be fixed and what you buy, accessories and things like that. So that's helpful.
Well, it's interesting you bring up a new boater. So no one in the market is trying to create new boaters. You're either born a boater, or you become a boater through friends. But there's no market targeting new potential boaters. And that's because, the adage of the happiest 2 days of a boat owner's life are the day he buys and sells a boat.
I've heard it, yeah.
We focus on not just getting you into the boat and, of course, trading up, but all the time in between, and all of the time you can get on the boat without owning a boat, making it a bigger marketplace and expanding the marketplace to every one of us who enjoys life on the water. I'm yet to meet someone who doesn't.
That's right. Could this same technology and platform be used for other things besides boats?
Oh, absolutely. So what we've built is I guess the best way to put it is a social network enthusiast tool. So instead of you in any other thing, golf, for example, where how do you connect courses and clubs and information and social media and put that all together? There have been companies that have tried to do these things in general for all products, but for golf, for private planes, for skiing, our platform works for all of those other industries as well.
Okay. Now, what are your goals for the company in terms of just future growth, uplisting?
Well, right now, we're, for all intents and purposes, pre-revenue. We have some revenue, but it's not a big deal. We really are a startup, even though we're in the microcap world. We will be uplisting. Our goal is 2023, as we uplisting to the NASDAQ, as we reach our revenue model predictions, which begins in June of 2022.
Okay, well, it sounds wonderful. Everybody loves to boat, so good luck with this, and thank you so much, Joseph.
Thank you so much for having me on today.
Thanks.
PetProducts.com. Thousands of products. An Al Simon Wee Wee Pad Inventor Company.
Interscope develops and markets direct-to-consumer innovative hearing solutions, and you can find their products in Walmart, Costco, some other major retailers as well. And with me is Matthew Moore, the CEO of Interscope. So great to meet you in person.
Absolutely. Great to meet you as well.
Yeah, it's great to have you here. So I did hear that Interscope now deploying some kiosks, right? And you've been kind of traveling the country. So tell me about that. Where are you going? What are these kiosks? What's the purpose?
Yeah, I mean, really, the hearing screening kiosks that we've developed and deploying across the country, it's all about growing the awareness. It's hearing loss is something that if you're not aware of it, there's no reason you're going to buy a device or a hearing device. So what hearing kiosk does is that the person can test their hearing and within 3 to 5 minutes find out if they have a hearing loss or not. If they have a hearing loss, it would direct them or recommend them to purchase one of our products or other ancillary products on the shelf or in store or online of that retailer. We've launched kiosks in multiple states. You're talking, in Cleveland, Ohio. You're talking Pittsburgh. You're talking Chicago. You're talking, Grimes, Iowa. I mean, we are launching these kiosks with Giant Eagle, Hy-Vee, Food City, multiple retailers, and we have. It seems like weekly we have more retailers joining the bandwagon to launch these kiosks.
Mm-hmm. And you and I have talked before about if you can catch the hearing loss early, you can prevent a lot of problems. I mean, I had no idea how many other issues are associated with hearing loss. So can you explain that a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been linked to Alzheimer's and dementia, heart disease, blood pressure, you name it. If a person with untreated hearing loss actually lives 3 years less compared to someone that has hearing loss but is being treated by a hearing aid.
Mm-hmm. And you've talked about depression too, which I can totally see happening. You can't hear, you're kind of frustrated, so.
Yeah, it creates isolation, in fact, depression, and sadly enough, even suicide. I mean, it's really a horrible condition that needs to be really treated and talked about as a society because it's so easy to be treated right now.
Yeah. Okay, big day yesterday. We've talked about this for as long as been a year that I've known you. The FDA finally made some kind of proposal, right? On here. Tell me what the FDA did. How does that impact Interscope?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, basically, Obama started this, Trump signed into law, and Biden's going to finish it. Is that it's creating this over-the-counter hearing aid law that's been signed since 2017. Due to COVID, it got delayed, but finally it's been announced. So basically, they have an initial comment period, and then they have another 90 days period after that. So basically, what this is going to do is open up so many more doors for us that we're going to be able to open up and actually offer our products as over-the-counter hearing aids. As soon as it's finalized, we're going to be doing a 510K and getting the FDA clearance, going through that process to really kind of launch Interscope to an even further and more a better direction. As we're pushing right now, but the OTC is just going to launch us even further.
Mm-hmm. And so this really will help give people more access, right? I mean, that's the bottom line. The easier to access, cheaper.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
It's going to lower the cost without sacrificing quality. Okay. That's the big thing. So that's the big, we're bringing that price point down to help tens of millions. I mean, there's 50 million Americans suffering from hearing loss with less than 15% being treated. That's over 40 million people that need hearing aids and don't have them due to high cost and low accessibility.
They're really expensive. Okay, so finally, you just completed an acquisition of iHear Medical. How does that fit into the business?
Yeah, I mean, iHear Medical has been around for over a decade in the direct-to-consumer hearing aid market. They have technology, they have patents. They spend over $25 million in R&D, and we've acquired them to build Interscope its own technology portfolio. So that way we'll be able to have our own IP, launch these products quickly. In fact, their previous CEO is now our CTO, our Chief Technology Officer, and they're going to be designing patents for us, and we're going to be really on cutting edge stuff here. We have so much stuff in the pipeline. It is just insane saying how much technology that we're going to be releasing over the next 6 to 12 months.
Okay. Well, sounds like we have some more interviews scheduled.
Absolutely.
About that, Matthew. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to New to the Street. This is your secure segment, the weekly hack with Alain Ghiai. Alain Ghiai is with GlobeX Data, the leader in SWIS-hosted private and secure communications and data management. Welcome back, Alain.
Thank you, Anna, and thanks for our viewers for watching us.
Well, it's unfortunate because we think with the need for international messaging, especially if it's a free service like WhatsApp, we think it's going to be safe and secure, but it's really just leaving the back door wide open for all type of breaches like this new one, this new malware that we are going to talk about today. Tell us what happened, Alain.
So free doesn't mean secure, obviously, or safe. In fact, in the world of digital data mining, free usually means that it's unsafe and unsecure because the design of the application and the service are such that whatever you do is an open book, and then either the company themselves, like Facebook, which is WhatsApp is Facebook, they mine you, or the hackers can come in. Because when you have, an open postcard and you send it in the mail, everybody can read it, the good guys and the bad guys. So what happened is this is another Trojan malware that essentially was discovered by Kaspersky security firm. They do an antivirus. They're pretty famous. It was discovered in 2016. And then in 2019, again, it was discovered. And what it does is that it gets into your account through WhatsApp, obviously, because with WhatsApp, you have no security, no privacy. You have your phone number out there. And there's plenty of websites that show you how to hack an account. As long as you have their phone numbers, you can hack into their WhatsApp account and get in, then you have a backdoor, so to speak. So this one is not just content enough to steal your data. They basically will kind of incubate. I like to use the word incubation because it keeps growing, the malware. So they put it in your phone someplace through the WhatsApp application. They have many malicious applications as well that carry those kind of malware. I mean, regular apps that are kind of supposedly, it's a cool app, but it's developed by hackers. So you have to think, when you see something free, find out who developed the app and what is it you really need it. But essentially, this thing it's kind of like a sleeper cell, and it wreaks havoc on your phone and your data. I should mention that a few months ago, there were a few issues with WhatsApp in terms of controlling the data and siphoning it. So I think back in January, this is where Signal became popular. Facebook said, now you have to accept our terms of use or we shut down your account. There was a huge backlash back in February of this year. And this is where Signal became popular. But still, WhatsApp is the biggest messaging app in the world out there. So now what happened is not too long ago, basically, if you had a WhatsApp account and you had your privacy setting, they manually, the new update, so they get you with these updates, the new update undid that privacy thing. So they got you and all your contacts. So the worst thing is that if you're a contact on WhatsApp, you would have been able to see all my contacts. Imagine that. It's just unreal. Whereas now if you send me, it's just you and me. So then manually people had to go back and undo something. And who knows about this? Who has time? So things of the hundreds of millions of people where if I message you on WhatsApp, I can also siphon all your contacts. That's the problem with these kind of free applications.
Yes, and WhatsApp seems to be in the news a lot lately with different types of hacks like this. And it's still extremely popular because it's free and it's a recognizable name, right? People just think it's safe and secure, but it's not. So that's where Secure comes in with your secure messenger and your secure email. Tell us about it.
That's it. So WhatsApp, which is really Facebook, one of the most famous brands on the planet. What we do in Sekur is, first of all, we don't ask for your phone number. So hackers can't get in that way. It blocks like 99.99% of the people. We also don't store metadata from your phone. So if you look at the phone and then the application, we have a buffer. So you have the full privacy and security. So the Secure Messenger app, which you can get at sekur.com, sekur.com. Essentially what it does is that in order to chat with someone, you can chat by invite via email. We're also launching text. So you can text anybody out there. If they don't have the Secure application, you'll be able, I think in a month from now, to text them, upload your address book on Sekur, and then say, hey, Anna, I want to chat with you. You click on your SMS, and then it's like a closed portal. We also don't data mine you. That's the first thing. We don't record any kind of media. So when you transfer photos on WhatsApp or any other application, you'll notice that those images are actually stored on your phone. If you take a look again, we don't do any of that. We don't grab the image. So it's like having an air cushion, I like to say, with a real separation. Also, in Q1 sometime, we're going to launch Secure Voice, and we're not going to use the voice over IP traditional systems that all applications use because it's unsafe, unsecure, and every hacker can get in on it. So right now you can message, you can email secure or non-secure users. And then later on, you'll be able to talk to people without even having to have their phone number technically. And it won't go through the regular telecom system. And next week, I'm going to talk about some other issues with telecoms out there.
As always, learning so much from you. And thank you for informing us and the public here at New to the Street about how we can protect our data, our bank accounts, and not just ours, but our friends in our circle, the people in our community. So as always, thank you so much for joining us on New to the Street, Alain.